Woke up in the same place with the same pain.
Hey y'all, hey all,
Bad you
hey
can't
y'all,
see
hey
a blessing
all.
even when it's staying
Welcome
in
to
your
this
face.
installment of Kingdom Things. Welcome to this
Just
Kingdom Things meetup.
be
Welcome to
patient.
this Kingdom Things meetup. My name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. I am the channel for the divine. I am the orchestrator of Kingdom Things podcast. I am the host of Kingdom Things podcast. On Kingdom Things podcast, I amalgamate the messages that I channel from the celestial and divine realms. These messages are intended to assist with the elevation of humanity, with the progression of humanity, with the widening of the scope of what is reality for humanity. So on this meetup, I'm going to be looking down because I have some notations that I channeled, and I want to make sure that I present and present this message the way it was channeled, because if you're here watching this video, your soul has navigated this video to yourself. Your soul has placed this video along your path because there's something here for you. There's something here for you. Me, myself, what I have been guided to do is to, what I've been guided to do is just be a void, experience life as a void. I know nothing. That way you allow for new energies to come in, the energies that you need in order to elevate and transcend and manifest the life that you desire. Create the life that you desire in order for you to embody the person that is required for you to manifest the life that you desire. So welcome to Kingdom Things Meetup. My name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. I am like a spiritual practitioner, spiritual healer, spiritual creative. I awakened to my soul. I awakened to my soul, and my soul showed me who I am. God showed me who I am. And my purpose is to assist with the upliftment of humanity, to assist you with uplifting yourself, to assist you with aligning yourself, to assist you with healing yourself. And healing is really just aligning to your soul, aligning to your truth, because anything outside of your soul is a program that we took on as souls. We chose to take these lessons. Like before we incarnated, our souls signed up for specific courses, and you chose everything that you've experienced in your life on a soul level. You chose to experience this experience before you incarnated in order to learn, grow, and expand as a soul. We go through our lives experiencing all these ups and downs, and we're like, why me? Like, why me? And our souls are happy, they're elated, they're jumping for joy because these experiences that we experience are something that we chose. And these experiences that we experience, again, help our souls expand, because our souls get to experience something that they chose to experience and something that they couldn't experience in any other space or place. So our experiences are experiences that our souls couldn't experience in any other space or place. That's why we chose to experience, for that rush of experiencing something new, for the rush of being able to learn and expand from what we experience. So welcome to Kingdom Things Meetup, beautiful soul, dear soul, welcome. The title of the video: why your intimate relationships do not work. Why your intimate relationships never work. It is you, it's not them. Wait, before you click off. Before you get triggered. Because I'm triggered a little bit inside too. Before you get a little triggered inside. Because I'm triggered a little bit too. So I feel you. It's not them, it's you. It's you. We have been programmed to view and perceive life, this world, invertedly. We have been programmed to view and perceive this world in an inverted way. What does that mean? We've been programmed to view and perceive this world opposite and flipped upside down from what is actually from how it's actually created. We've been programmed to view this world flipped and upside down from how it's actually created. This world, all of creation, is meticulously designed with laws in place for the operation of this world, for all of creation. So we've been programmed by our ancestral teachings to view this world opposite and flipped upside down from what it actually is. So we don't perceive the world for what it actually is. We perceive the world from the lens of what we've been taught, right? So the universal law that really is prevalent in our relationships is the universal law of perpetual transmutation of energy. The universal law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which is one of my favorites. I'm dorkish. When I was in school, I took physics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. That hit my soul. It resonated. I was like, I've heard that before. Like that resonated with my whole being. I was like, my soul knows that. So the perpetual transmutation of energy states, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy changes from one state to another. So energy is never created nor destroyed. It just changes from one state or another. And our relationships we are creating. Creation, in order for creation to come about, two or more existing aspects have to relate in order to create or transmute, alchemize a third energy. So in all of our relationships, our interactions with these people, our bonds with these people, how we interact and bond with these people, they're creating a third energy through transmutation or alchemy. And what happens is we get into these relationships. We have these relationships with these people. And these relationships with these people were always intended to teach us. The intention for every relationship that we have is for our growth and expansion to teach us. Because these relationships and these experiences are only mirroring to us aspects of ourselves that we have yet to learn from. Every relationship that we have, every relationship that we experience, whether it's with a partner, whether it's with a family member, whether it's with a child, whether it's with a coworker, that relationship is intended to teach us about parts of ourselves that we have not allowed ourselves to acknowledge, to view, and to learn from. And again, every experience, every relationship on a soul level before you incarnated, you chose to have that experience with that person in order to potentially learn and grow from that experience. So the perpetual transmutation of energy is neither created nor destroyed. What we do is we come together with these different individuals, these different aspects. We create that third energy through transmutation or alchemization with the other parties. And instead of learning from that energy that we alchemize with that person, with that place, with that experience, instead of looking at it, acknowledging, trying to understand, introspect, and reflect on what was this situation, what was this person trying to teach me about myself? What was this person, what was this situation trying to teach me about myself? Instead of introspecting and reflecting on our experiences and on our relationships that were always intended to teach us about ourselves for self-growth, self-expansion, self-ascension, we project and deflect those energies that we experience and say, oh, it's on them. They caused that. They did this. They're this, they're that. We like to make labels and call people names. They're this, they're that. They're this, they're that. They're narcissists. They're this, they're that. We like to label people and call people names when in all actuality, on a soul level, we have an agreement with that person to come in, to create that and alchemize that third energy, to create and alchemize that relationship, to transmutate and alchemize that relationship in order to learn from that creation, to learn about ourselves from that creation. But what we do, instead of learning, introspecting, guilty? Anything that I channel and teach, trust, and believe, I had to experience it first. So, and I'm experiencing it still, because there's different levels of learning. So I'm still experiencing it. But instead of learning from the things that we transmute and alchemize with these other relationships and people, these relationships that we create, the relationships that we create are an alchemization or transmutation of the relation between the people or the experiences. Is creating that third energy. Instead of learning from that third energy, what we do is we blame and we point fingers and say, this person is the reason I feel this way. This person is the reason I'm reacting this way. Instead of looking at that lesson, introspecting, reflecting, and trying to learn, what is this trying to teach me? Because really this is holding a mirror up to my face. The situation, this dynamic that we created, it's holding a mirror up to my face and it's trying to show me who I am, show me parts of myself that I have not acknowledged to learn from. This situation, this relationship, this dynamic we created together is trying to show me parts of myself, put a mirror up to myself to show me parts of myself that I turn a blind eye to because it hurts, because I'm afraid of it. Whatever the case may be, we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge those parts of ourselves that these relationships are trying to show us. So the perpetual transmutation of energy is neither created nor destroyed. Instead of learning and looking, introspecting about what we create, we thwart the transmutation of energies by perpetuating old stagnant energies with our thoughts. So we don't allow the energies that we created with that person, the situation that we created with that person, we don't allow it to change, transmute, and transform because we feed that energy with the same thoughts that created that energy in the first place. And the reason why we're feeding that energy that we created that relationship with that person with the same energy is because we didn't look at it to understand what that energy was trying to teach us, what that energy was trying to show us about ourselves, show us what part of ourselves created this. Instead of looking at this energy that's trying to show us the parts of ourselves that we don't look at, the parts of ourselves that assisted with this creation that we do not like, that is not pleasurable to us, that causes pain, that causes strife. That pain and that strife is trying to turn you inward to see that part of yourself that created that pain and that strife. So instead of reflecting and introspecting on what we created with that person, because all relationship dynamics are a creation, you have to have two or more aspects relating to each other to create. So no party is a perpetuated predator or a victim. On the soul level, you both agreed to create this relationship dynamic in order to learn and expand and grow, not only on a soul level, but as a human. And this growth, this learning expansion is trying to assist you as a human to elevate to your next level of life that on a soul level and on a human level, most likely you want to experience. So every pain and strife that we experience in our life is really brought about to teach us about ourselves, to put a mirror up to ourselves, to show us which part of ourselves is creating this pain and strife in order to introspect, look at it. Once you acknowledge that part of yourself that creates that pain, that part of yourself no longer has control. That part of yourself, you're able to be self-aware and understand when certain things happen in your life, why they happened. And those certain things that caused you pain and strife, that created that creation, is only going to perpetuate if you don't acknowledge it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to thwart the transmutation of energies by perpetuating old stagnant energies with our thoughts. So we're going to think the same way that created that dynamic, that relationship that assisted. We're going to think the same thoughts that assisted with that creation, that dynamic, that experience that we did not enjoy, that caused us pain and strife. Once we look at that pain and that situation that we assisted with creating that causes pain and strife, and we introspect, what was that relationship trying to teach me? Like, it was tumultuous, it was chaotic, it was painful. What was it trying to teach me? I assisted with that creation. What was it trying to teach me about myself? And once we introspect and ask ourselves, we'll start to understand those parts of ourselves that we came here to learn and expand and grow from on a soul level and as a human. We move from one relationship. I'm channeling right now, so it's like, We move from one relationship to another without introspecting. We move from one relationship to another without introspecting, reflecting about what we experienced in that relationship to learn from. So we move from one relationship to another without introspecting on our last experience in order to learn from what that experience came about, what we agreed upon creating that experience for, to learn from. And once we learn from what we intended to learn from that experience, we elevate and raise our vibrations. We elevate and raise our thought patterns out of those type of situations that were created in that experience. And we're able to elevate and create something new, something more beneficial for your soul and for your human. We experience relationships in order to experience ourselves outside of ourselves. So every relationship is intended to put a mirror up to yourself in order for you to experience yourself outside of yourself. In order for you to experience those parts of yourselves that you don't acknowledge outside of yourself. The parts of yourself that you don't acknowledge that are creating those tumultuous, chaotic, and painful situations outside of yourself that you don't enjoy. Again, once we have that mirror, that person that comes in and shows us those parts of ourselves that we just, that just really trigger us, that really put a mirror up to the things that we run from, the parts of ourselves that we run from. Once we give ourselves the opportunity to learn from that person, what are you trying to teach me? You are me, I am you. I know you're showing me parts of myself that I don't like. Let me be honest with myself. I don't like these parts of myself. But I love myself, and I understand that you, the part of myself that I don't like, you're here to teach me something. So you know what? I'm going to love you because you're here to teach me how to grow and expand into a better me, into a more expanded and learned soul. More expanded and learned soul. We have to transcend the ideology that relationships are intended to complete or balance us. So we have to transcend that ideology that says that the inversions, those programmings that we're taught that are flipped and inverse to what reality is actually intended for. We're here to learn, grow, and expand as humans and on a soul level. And again, everything that we experience in our lives, every relationship that we encounter, every relationship that we assist in creating on a soul level, we agreed to and we signed up. We signed up for these experiences. We said, who wants to go through the traumatic experience? Our soul said, me, I do. And was excited about it because they knew it was an opportunity to grow, learn, and expand beyond what I currently am. This relationship that was tumultuous, that was traumatic, was an experience for me to grow, learn, and expand beyond what I am and into something greater, into something more high vibrational in order to create a more high vibrational and greater experience in my next moments. We have to transcend the ideology that relationships are intended to complete or balance us. Relationships are intended to assist us with seeing ourselves in ways we don't allow ourselves to see ourselves. The relationships we have are showing us the parts of ourselves that we need to see to heal. So once that mirror, that person that comes in, that really grinds your gears, which is really only an aspect of yourself, that gear grinder is really only an aspect of yourself that you don't allow yourself to acknowledge. That gear grinder is really only an aspect of yourself that you don't allow yourself to acknowledge. There is no exception to the rule. There is no exception to the rule. This is what it is. As humans, this is not our first experience. As souls, this most likely is not our first experience. So we carry energies from past experiences that were incarnated into this experience to work that puzzle, to figure out how to grow and learn from those energies that we carry around, to transmute them into something more high vibrational. So the relationships we have are showing us the part of ourselves that we need to see in order to heal, the parts of ourselves that we deny. We have to transcend the ideology that relationships are intended to complete or balance us. We have to transcend this. In order to elevate as individuals, in order to elevate as a society, in order to elevate as humanity, in order to assist in the elevation of our sentient, our feeling planet, Father, Mother, Gaia, we have to transcend the ideology that there are elements outside of ourselves that are supposed to come in to complete and balance us. That is an inversion. We have to go within and acknowledge those parts of ourselves that are jumping and screaming to be acknowledged in order to balance our own selves, in order to create lives that mirror that balance. Otherwise, you're going to have gear grinders come in. If we don't take the initiative to go within ourselves and look at ourselves and ask ourselves what's going on and ask ourselves and try to get to know ourselves on a deeper level, we're going to have gear grinders come in from the outside to show us what we're evading on the inside. If we don't take the initiative to go inside of ourselves, to learn about ourselves, to experience ourselves, to grow ourselves, in order to balance ourselves, in order to experience a balanced life, in order to experience balanced relationships, in order to have balanced and joyful and peaceful experiences, we're going to have gear grinders come in. We're going to have traumatic experiences come in order to show us what we're avoiding within ourselves. And yes, on a soul level, everything that we experience, we signed up to experience. But we're in a unique and beautiful time period, time space on planet Earth, where we're in new energies that have never been experienced on this earth. Therefore, you have the free will to go within and balance yourself and acknowledge yourself in order to avoid experiencing those traumatic experiences you signed up to experience on a soul level and experience a balanced and peaceful life instead. You have the free will to do that. And your soul, you're on a soul level, you know what you're going to do. You know if you're going to do that or not. And you know, and you're going to do what's for the highest good of yourself, the highest good of your soul growth, the highest good of your humanism growth. We're always where we're supposed to be, and we're always who we're supposed to be. So don't beat up on yourself. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love because it activates the God or goddess within. Self-love is the best love because it helps balance yourself within, and it helps you understand yourself within to have more balanced experiences in our lives. So we heal by acknowledging these parts of ourselves, these parts of self, and loving ourselves despite whether or not these parts that we are acknowledging, these parts that we're being shown, we deem worthy of love or not. So these gear grinders that are coming in to show us these parts of ourselves that we're like afraid of, that we don't like, these traumatic experiences that are trying to teach us about ourselves that are painful, whether or not those aspects of ourselves that we're trying to be shown, we deem good or bad, we have to love ourselves despite the sensations that come about when we feel these parts of ourselves. We have to love ourselves despite the sensations that we feel when we are shown these parts of ourselves. Because loving ourselves despite these sensations that we feel creates balance. Loving ourselves despite what the sensation that we feel is unconditional love. And unconditional love is balance. Unconditional love is power. Unconditional love is force. And that is your power. That is your force. You being able to turn the mirror on yourself, not having to have someone come in, not having to have an experience show you who you are. You being able to go within yourself, sit with yourself, and ask yourself these questions, journal, and ask yourself these questions about yourself. Why did I experience this? What was this person trying to show me? You being able to do that is powerful. It's powerful. It's your ability to create your own reality is what it is. You being able to do that is you creating your own reality. Despite what you turn on the news and see, despite what you scroll on Twitter and read about in the world, The world could be on fire. But if you're with yourself and you have that bond with yourself where you're able to ask yourself these questions and you're able to look at yourself and sit with yourself through all of your emotions, through all of your experiences, and love yourself despite on what you feel, despite on what you're shown about yourself, that is unconditional love. That is power. And you're going to have a life of peace and balance. Yes, we're going to have ups and downs. We reside, we exist in a universe of polarity. So ups and downs is a part of the game. Ups and downs is a part of this earth experience. And it's something that we understood on a soul level before we came in. But once you sit with yourself and you rediscover the tools, because on a soul level, you know this. On a soul level, you know this, and that's why you're here, because your soul is trying to remind you. That is why you're watching this video, because your soul is trying to wake you up to what you already know. You already know all of this. Your soul is trying to remind you. Once we go within, we're able to look at those parts of ourselves that we don't acknowledge, those parts of ourselves that we're fearful of, those parts of ourselves that make us depressed and sad. And love ourselves despite of all of the things that we hold inside, because we exist, we're having an experience in a dualistic reality. Therefore, we're not just going to hold the good, we're going to hold the bad equally. And once we're able to acknowledge the bad, just as we acknowledge the good, we come into balance. We come into peace. And the next step is practicing on how to hold that balance and hold that peace by monitoring your thoughts, monitoring what you consume on all levels. What you consume on all levels. Food, programming, media, energies. To master yourself, to create your own reality. Because that's really what you're here for. Your soul is here to play the game, to work the energy. Your soul is here to play the game, to work the energy, to grow, learn, and expand. To have this beautiful physical experience on this beautiful planet with these beautiful people that are only mirrors to who you are. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this Kingdom Things podcast meetup. Again, my name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. I am the channel orchestrator and producer of Kingdom Things podcast. Again, where I channel messages from the celestial and galactic realms. I amalgamate these channel messages and I put them in Kingdom Things podcast. You don't have to listen to the podcast installments, the episodes in any order. Whatever calls to you, that's what your soul wants you to listen to gain whatever it is that you're there to gain from that podcast installment. So it's not just the messages only. Coupled with the messages are energies to assist you in the areas that your soul needs, that knows that you need assistance with in that moment. And the only way for you to gain assistance is per your allowance. So on a soul level, on an energetic level, on a human level, like your mind, your intentions to allow for assistance with whatever it is that podcast installment came across your path to assist you with. I want to say, I love you. I love you, mirror. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love because it activates the God or goddess within you. Thank you again for joining me at this meetup, this Kingdom Things podcast meetup.